Hey, this is our session 0 for Alien. Um, we're gonna do a little bit of setup to what the story is, a little bit of role playing to set up the true story that we'll get into in our session 0 or session 1. Session 0, we also just did a little game system review, and we're gonna jump right in. So, as you all know, you are the crew of the Montero, which I'll go ahead and jump us back to the actual ship map on our Roll20 system so you can get an idea of where you're arriving to and where you will later be waking up to once your trip has come to a conclusion and you wake up from cryo. But where we're going to start, and what I want to know from you all, is leading up to this mission, you know that you have some cargo to deliver. It's gonna take about 145 days, as we've established. It's gonna take about 145 days in cryo for you to travel to the location of Sutter's world to deliver this cargo. Um, and you're leaving from Anchor Point Station, which is not usually a permanent location for most people. There's not a very big community that people stay there permanently. There are inns, hotels, bars, things like that, so you can stay there between jobs, but it is likely none of you live there unless you are very much a transient person that lives nowhere and is just staying in Anchor Point between jobs anyway. So we're going to go person to person, likely starting with who would arrive first, which I'm guessing to be the captain of our ship. And we'll start with a brief introduction of your character, what you look like, demeanor, what people know from working with you for the last probably 6 months. You've had a couple months off between the last time you probably saw each other, unless you do hang out between jobs. But it's been a couple months. You know each other at least 6 months at this point. This crew's been together. So, Emily, please describe your character and maybe what you did the kind of nights leading up to this next
Yeah.
job.
Okay, so Captain Cameron Weaver is taller, kind of muscular, definitely like has a presence in a room. Her hair is always sort of just clipped up, like she just kind of got out of bed and clipped it up for convenience. Um, she is definitely known for being a little bit elusive, a little bit of a hard ass, not mean, but very into efficiency, has been doing this a long time, has a system, plans everything by the minute, and expects everybody to be doing exactly what they need to be doing when they need to be doing it.
Love it. And so, with that,
Yeah.
does the captain have a ritual or something the night
Yeah,
before
I
a
mean,
big trip?
he is she is very, like I said, particular about the way things happen. So I think she has a plan. She's gone over exactly what's going to need to happen tomorrow. She's going back over her notes, double checking the timing, um, probably going over it way more times than she actually needs to, adjusting things by like a minute here, a minute there, making sure that she's accounted for everything. And yeah, I mean, very solitary.
Okay. All right. So you show up, and we'll get to exactly what each of you do once you actually arrive to where the Montero is docked. But before we do that, I'm actually going to jump over to Sophie's character as the handler. I believe that you would
Mhm.
be kind of the next person to show up, needing to start loading the cargo that you'll be taking. Will take pretty significant amount of time, so everyone else doesn't necessarily need to show up as early, but as your role is the handler of the cargo, you're probably going to be our second person to show up. And please describe your character for us, Sophie.
Yeah, Putnam Brackney, or otherwise known as Put. They use all pronouns because gender doesn't exist now, and it definitely doesn't exist in the future.
Love
Uh,
it.
and they show up. They are pretty lean. They wear coveralls, and they've got like a hand knit sweater and hat, and they've got in their like coverall like pocket like a bunch of pins, but they also have like crochet hooks and knitting needles, and they've got their whatever the future version of like OSHA required like sound protection and
Ah,
boots
of
and
course.
like all
Hmm.
that stuff. like bandana hanging out of the back pocket, and they're moving stuff using the loader. And also like keeping notes of like in the readouts on the sides of these like gas canisters, making sure that the temperature and the contents and the pressure is all stable. Very much so like down to earth working type, but smart enough to be like engineering and meticulous about those details.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
And any rituals or things you want to do for the night before in Anchor Point Station?
Absolutely. We would have left a previous port of call. That's where my like paramour would have been left behind.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be probably trying to go out one last time with the technician on the crew, going to have a drink if Zach will allow that, and uh, then also like you see them pulling out a string of beads in the form of a rosary and just kind of like muttering under their breath prayers here and there, trying to get right with God before they go on this trip.
All right. Love that. Well,
Mhm.
speaking of, in my professional opinion of how ships work, the technician is who I believe would come next to start all of the um, system boot ups for the ship itself and making sure everything is good to go for takeoff. So, Zach, same questions to you and start with what does your character look like?
Yeah, so Samuel Mason goes by Sammy. He's 40-year-old uh, technician. Has one of those physiques that he's in shape from how much physical labor he does. Hasn't gone to a gym once in his life, but has kind of an all around physique from just being physical. Um, Grumpy face, resting grump face. He's tall, probably 6'1", 6'2". Has long black wavy hair, almost shoulder length. That kind of has either whether it's grease or just natural oils, has this body to it that he's able to just kind of like push it back. And he would definitely be walking onto the ship wearing his coveralls, but the top of the coveralls are undone and tied at the waist. And he's wearing a white tank top.
So
Uh,
hot.
shouldering,
Nice. Very nice.
shouldering a duffel bag, toothpick in his mouth, and
Oh my
he
God.
comes into the cargo bay, throws down his duffel bag, lovingly pats the inside of the ship, says, "Did you miss me, baby?" Uh, yeah, and Sammy would definitely have. Um, Sammy is he's a hard nut to crack, and probably one of the only people who has cracked it is Putt. And so Putt would have found Sammy probably in a corner alone in the bar, but did share a drink with Putt for sure, and that definitely would have been exactly what Mason or Sammy, last name Mason, would have done the night before. So he's probably coming in a little hungover, probably adding to his completely stereotypical attire, probably also is wearing sunglasses in the middle of this hangar where there is no sun.
Love it.
Yeah.
Amazing. And next, maybe later than she should have arrived, but not last,
Wow.
we'll have the pilot of our ship arrive for her pre-departure checks. And Kelsey, passing it over to you.
Mackenzie Gray never is late. She arrives precisely when she
Ah,
needs
yes,
to.
of course.
She goes by Mac. She has a very kind of like very like honestly elven, like very sharp features, like sharp chin, sharp nose, bright blue eyes, and hair that's like thin and black, and it's very clear she cut it herself. Like every time you see her, it's like kind of cut a little differently, and it's very just kind of shaggy and haphazard. Um, she's wearing like kind of hand-me-down. I'm imagining some kind of like hand-me-down army wear, like cargo camo pants, cargo camo shirt, kind of a bright orange tank top underneath. And she, I think you guys would know that she's a little bit she's going for the rush, for the fun, when she's not doing her job, because obviously she's very good at her job. But she would definitely arrive on whatever future type of motorcycle there is. And where Zach's character may pat the ship lovingly, I think she probably like spits on her hand and like jumps up and like smacks it because she's kind of short. So she's like short and sharp, and just like eyes are kind of like always wide and alert. So she's just like taking it all in.
And night before, does she go for this thrill, go crazy
Yes.
hard? Would people
I
see her
think she
going
finds
crazy?
No, I think she finds the tallest building possible and will like sit on the edge of it for as long as she
All right.
can, just like looking down, like. So it's like it's a thrill, but it's like a private thrill before they actually go off on their
Awesome.
adventure.
All right. Well, last and certainly not least, very crucial member of the crew is our corporate liaison from Wayland Yutani. Adam, let's dive into your character. Tell us about him.
Well, like any good corporate liaison, Dalton Vlasic is wearing a Patagonia vest, white, puffy, zipped up. He walks up to the ship with a duffel of his own that has like little rolling wheels on it. He doesn't have to pull it though; it'll just like pull itself.
Ah, yes.
As anyone who works with him knows, his favorite corporate value is community, because it's very important. And so he's quite proud to have provided the ship with so many of its needs and stuff, and to keep like a good atmosphere and communal energy up. He's bringing to this ship an espresso machine to install, so that anyone can at any point in time have espresso, just to bring up the living quality of life for everyone on board. So that's also sitting on top of his rolling duffel bag, an enormous machine that he knows how to set up. He night before he read all the instruction manual on how to set up these things. And he kind of takes a pause step, looks around. He's got a shortcut hair, just wide eyes taking everything in, and like a deep breath, and struts up the gangplank. Ready to, bring the energy, bring the fun, and bring this crew to be an effective machine, always bringing value.
I love it.
Amazing.
All right.
Let's go.
So, that is the order that and I should ask, Adam, does Dalton or Dolly, do anything besides just like really ensure that he knows this espresso machine? Or does he maybe like try to go out and have a drink and, meet some more people, or what does he do the night before?
I think the night before, Dolly would probably not spend time going having a drink, maybe having a drink of coffee or something like that, or like not something party wise, but just very like he's reading emails. They have emails in the future. You can't get away from them. Just like taking notes on things, and just like he's been ready to take this mission for like a couple weeks now. So this feels like work here. He's just in work, ready to go.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Love it. All right, so we'll slowly get to everything with what you guys do once you arrive. But first, we're gonna start with Emily, your character, uh, Captain Cam, as maybe some people call her. Um, but you arrive, and you know that your duties are to be the first on the ship, start prepping the ship. Specifically, one of your crucial tasks to do when you arrive is to boot up Mother, which is the AI system on the ship itself. And to start a task, you know that this is a corporate ship, so it is kind of you choose the ship itself is set up for this cargo haul, so there's not as much you would need to set up. Mother is already kind of aware of what needs to happen. But one of the crucial things you need to do is appoint a second in command, as you, as captain, are the only person who can access the mother mainframe. But should something happen to you, you are required to put a second in command that can have their codes access mother if you are not able to.
I would choose Mac.
All right. Good to know.
Let's go.
So, that is the first thing that you go and do. You probably don't see Putt arrive, but you've worked together long enough. You know they're pretty trustworthy. They'll get right to their job. And you can probably hear the power loader working as all of these canisters are loaded onto the deck. And slowly but surely, more and more of you arrive, start doing all the things. I would say, Putt being out and about, you likely see Sammy arrive, and the rest arrive as you're kind of going on and off the ship with the power loader. Besides your general tasks, is there anything specific any of you would want to do? You'll have kind of a debrief before you actually get settled. But is there anything specific any of you would like to do as you arrive, or someone you want to say hi to if it hasn't, been a couple months? Who's your friends? Who's your buddies? What do you do?
I'm gonna get way too close to this espresso machine. Immediately. I think I'm gonna just start trailing trailing Dalton. I'm just gonna kind of walk up. Mr. Vlasic.
Gray. Yeah. I just thought, might bring a little surprise.
Okay. She kind of I think she kind of bounces. Like, is she
Are
she's
you
like always kind of moving? What is it?
Well, it's something I think the whole crew would enjoy.
Oh, come on, man!
It's an espresso machine. Ooh.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, if you want to help me install it, I think I can show you the ropes on this bad boy.
Oh my god, yes. Don't tell Cam though, because I need to be doing other things. But I'll get them done. So yeah, let me help.
You got it. Here, we'll take it up into the cantina, and we'll set these things up right here.
All right.
This is top of the line. I went for the best, most expensive machine we could find.
Yep. And this thing here goes here.
Oh yeah, of course.
I would say, I'm sure.
Not
Sammy.
Yeah. I think as they're
checks, you see this.
Yeah, I think as they're going to the cantina, I think that Sammy's probably already working on something. So he's crouched down in the hallway. There's a panel open, and he's got a wrench down in there, and he's currently tightening something. He sees the two of them approach, and kind of just haphazardly throws up a hand. And then
Sammy!
he does a double take. Hey, Gray, how you doing? Hey, what's that?
Mason, I have brought a little gift for everyone.
It's an espresso machine!
Did you get that cleared?
Of course. Who do you think I am? What do you? We have everything we need on this ship.
Am I gonna
don't have?
Am I gonna have to set that up myself?
Don't worry about it. I've been reading for it. I've been reading through all the manuals. I think I have it note for note down. I think if you want to be involved, you can be. You want to get a first cup of coffee in?
Listen, let me ask you this, genius. Did you think about the fact that you got to bracket it down? There's multiple times that we hit 0 G's. Did you think about that?
This is the kind of thinking that we improves the team.
All right, I'll go to the cantina with you.
Get the drill, the big one, please, the big one.
I shout down to the cargo hold. Hey, Putt, get the big drill.
The big one!
Be right there. Be right there, boss.
So I would say, but you arrive first, and eventually having this, the Montero isn't a big ship.
Hmm.
Comparatively, it's got a big cargo area that's meant for hauling large shipments. But as you can see by the map, it's got the med lab, it's got a galley where you guys can hang out, eat, but it doesn't have much more than that besides the bridge. So like at some point, and we'll let kind of Putt kind of join, but at some point, Emily, the captain, notices that your crew is nowhere they should
Yeah,
be.
I would be like doing my rounds, making sure everything is going as scheduled, and at some point, like realize I hadn't run into anyone for a while and just like follow the sound.
Of
Cool. So
Mac
we'll start
yelling.
with Putt. You hear a call for a big drill, and know that something probably needs to be fixed or is maybe already broken. You grab that and you meet everybody else besides the captain currently in the galley trying to put together this espresso machine.
I'm
I
telling
gotta-
you, this goes in this hole. There is no.
I know what I'm
other
doing, Gray. You
option.
know what you're doing up there. I know what I'm doing in here, all right?
All right, all right. I'm just
Perfect
saying.
timing, Brackney. We'll need that right here. Right here. We're drilling the big holes.
Yeah,
In the hole.
Mr. Dalton. I got it. Okay.
You know, Vlasic, I gotta say, this is actually pretty nice. You did good on this one.
Well, what can I say? I am is something that brings a little joy, helps people focus. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, and I'm happy to support you all.
Yeah, that's
What is it that we're here for?
Oh, Captain. We are installing the new espresso machine that
Ta-da.
that I'm bringing into the ship. I
I'm
thought it
looking
would-
at
it
my
would kind of-
schedule. I don't see install espresso machine.
Right.
Come on, Cam. It's a nice
We-
gesture. It's a nice gesture. We're being nice.
Fine. Okay. I guess it will make everybody more efficient. So,
In 100
Bring me
days.
and get back to work.
Yes, Captain.
Yes, Miss Weaver.
Yes.
Turns and leaves.
She runs off.
I think it's going over great.
So you spend just a little bit more time on this espresso machine, get it secured, bolt it down, working. Everybody gets a cup. Also, Mac, you take one to the bridge to give to Cam. Everyone kind of does their the
No,
rest
I
of
drink
their.
both. I drink both.
You bring the
Drink both.
empty cup. You just happen to drink
I
it on the
toss
way.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't not. It was really good.
So
I
funny.
drink the first one, I'm like, oh, drink the second one, throw both cups away.
Well,
None the wiser.
we'll start with that then. Cam is waiting at the bridge, and Mac walks in empty-handed.
Hello.
Oh, good. I was starting to get tired.
What? Shit. I can go back and get it. I left it sitting on the table.
Second in command. Okay.
Airbrain. I'm fine. Everything's
There are more important things. I can get it later. How are things?
good. How are you?
Everything's in order?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh. Yeah. Sorry. Not about me. Yes. The ship is in order. It is ready to go. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be easy. It's always easy.
Should be. Till it's not.
It's always way too easy here. So it's gonna be fine. Boring as hell, like usual.
I just want to get on with it, honestly.
Yeah. Same. Get it on, get it over, and then we can get back. And you're gonna
Where's
party
it
with
gonna
me this time, right? When we get back. You promised?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I don't believe you. That was not
we'll see
that was
how
not
it
a
goes.
yes behavior. That was not a tone of yes.
It's just not really like, not what I do.
Not yet.
But- Thank you. Let's worry about this first.
yeah, I'm focused. I'm ready. What's going on? What's going on?
Great.
So you run
I'm-
through. Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna like do one more round, make sure everybody is where they need to be, and also get my espresso. And I'm gonna make it a double.
Yeah. The double is a great choice, just
Yeah.
so you know.
So you head back to the galley, and likely everybody knows once you finish up your tasks about the ship. The galley is kind of where you all gather before actual takeoff to make sure, basically the captain does a check, make sure everybody is clear on what the details of this job are, things like that. So, we'll say, Putt, you have a couple more rounds with the loader to do. So, Emily, when Cam goes in, maybe checks on that first. And you
Yeah.
see Putt just finishing up like the last couple pallets of these large tanks that you know are filled with currently very flammable materials, but should be a very valuable material by the time you arrive.
Brackney, right on schedule. Everything in order?
Hey, Miss Weaver. Yeah, I was just checking down the last of these loads, getting them secured. We got the tritium gas and then the oxygen loaded up. So we'll start the aeration process as soon as we get into atmosphere, out of atmosphere. Got that calculated, so we should see the bulk of that has processed by the time we get there.
I can always trust you to do your job.
Thanks, Miss Weaver.
And she just kind of wordlessly turns and walks away.
Great. Last person, we'll say you find check in as a one-on-one, is Sammy. We'll say that you're currently in the med lab, making sure all the medical equipment is still functional. You might not know what it does, but you're at least making sure that the systems itself is up and the computers and intercom across the ship are, good to go in each room.
Yeah, no, I was looking at my character sheet earlier, and I do have I actually have some skill in medical
Oh, even better.
as the technician, and which I think makes sense because it's mainly equipment, and I
That is
think
true.
so.
Is the body not just equipment?
Yeah, it says medical aid. I have too. Anyway,
Perfect.
but yes, no. So I think I'm doing that. I think I am also like I'd probably have conversed with Mother and asked her to give me like a diagnostics report and everything, make sure everything's good. So yeah, I'm just checking and running through uh, standard procedures with the medical equipment.
Great.
Yeah.
Cam,
Walk in and say, well, everyone has told me that everything's in order, but I'm sure you found something to fix. So, is everything in order?
Well, jokes aside, we're gonna have to readjust some things with the weight in the cantina. But other than that, no, we should be pretty good.
All right, I'm on schedule.
Yeah, I have nothing to report. Everything's fine.
Okay. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
She
all right,
kinda, like,
and
turns and rolls her eyes to herself as she walks away, just like, God damn it.
what a crew you have.
Let's go.
Then we'll say the last stop that you make is to the galley as you kind of wait for everyone to finish and gather there. So you can have a moment with Dolly or Dalton, as you likely refer to him as, or even not Dalton and keep the last names. But um, we'll say, Adam, your character's role is to kind of keep the ship on track with, it's a company delivery. You want to make sure everything's on track. You're not
Mhm.
as like observant as the captain to make sure everyone's doing their job, but you do send in reports on the crew. As the corporate liaison, you are still overseeing the crew to an extent. But during this time, you don't really have much to do besides just wait for takeoff. So
Mhm.
we'll say you're probably still in the galley, maybe on a multiple cups of espresso as you're waiting. But then the captain comes in, and for a moment, it's just the two of you.
Captain.
Classic. Working hard as usual, I see.
Yes, I'm trying to find the best way to clean the little espresso cup after we. Uh, Not important. Can I make you a cup?
Um, actually, yeah, yes.
Excellent. Wayland Yuntai is, I think, very impressed by the way the crew's been running, and I really have a good feeling about this specific shipment that we're doing. I think our long time, work that we've been putting in is going to pay off pretty soon, and I really I really respect what you've been doing with this crew, and I think we've just been running an excellent ship, and I'm excited to embark on this with you.
Have been doing an excellent job. Thank you for your work.
Of course. Espresso, tiny cup.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Keep
So
it up. He turns and walks away.
Yes, Zach.
Just because it's fun. I think because I think he'd probably be done relatively soon, so I think he would be walking in at the end of this conversation, and you hear Sammy doing his best Captain Weaver impression.
Oh no!
And he just kind of like walks in and he goes, "Is everything in order? Are we? Are we? Is everything? Are we good?"
Are you good?
Yeah, no, I was just coming here to let you know that we're good. So we're good. Actually, you know what? You two are the perfect people that I wanted to see. I couldn't help but notice when Mother gave me diagnostics that we have a couple kilos of fuel extra, which is always good, right? Yeah, that's always great, you know, to have some extra.
Jim was like, "No, you do not."
You know,
We'll see if we do.
Oh my god!
You know, so we'll be all the way out in the frontier, right? So there's a lot of useful places out there. Maybe we can just add a few weeks to our trip, see what scavenging opportunities are nearby, make Wayland a lot happier, make everybody a lot happier, a little bonus. What do we think?
I would suggest we focus on the mission, as it were, and then perhaps we discuss, depending on what the captain thinks, maybe on the way back.
Hey, that's not a no. Hey, that's not
Side
a no.
quests? Did I
I
hear
would say by
side
this
quests?
time, all of you are arriving in the galleon,
Yes,
overhearing this.
Yes.
We all seem to be a little bit too focused on what is going to happen after this mission or after we've dropped off the cargo, but right now we have a job and we need to complete that job. Yes?
Sammy, I can absolutely make that happen for you, buddy. Just saying, if it works out. Like off to the side. It's like, just saying, you tell me how much fuel we have, and I can tell you how I can make this
Listen,
baby run.
I was talking to some boys down at the Red Anchor, and I'm just telling you, there's some asteroids out there. There's some abandoned ships out there. There's stuff out there. Okay, we could make this trip a little
Cargo
bit more.
in our ship.
Speaking my language. All right. Anyways,
Sorry, Cap. Sorry, Cap.
we're not doing anything. We're focused. Focused.
Whose
Putnam
idea-
kind
whose
of
idea-
runs up and is like, "All right, we're all set down in the hold. Should be good to go.
Thank you, Putt.
Flight plans all set. We're golden.
Anybody else need any help with anything before we throw ourselves in the ice packs?"
Diagnostics are good. Equipment's bracketed. Everything's looking good, Cap.
We are just on time.
See, nail it every time, Captain. I'm telling you, this is great stuff.
We are
Good
technically 115 seconds ahead of schedule.
That's why the
Thank goodness we
corporation.
had that espresso.
Yes.
stuff. Espresso.
They're just moving a little faster. You see, adding
I
value.
feel it.
It's always
I feel
adding
it.
value.
I feel it. Can I actually have? I'm gonna. If I could have another.
You're good, Gray. You're good.
Actually,
You're good.
no, just one more. Come on, one more. Come on,
Get
man.
off the ground first.
You know, he kind of punches your arm like, come on, one more.
So Gray maybe sneaks another cup as you all head to the bridge where you have your special seats for takeoff to actually clear the atmosphere before you actually go into the faster than light speed. You'll be in cryo by then because, as everybody knows, if you are in the ship for too long at faster than light speed, you get sicky. So sooner you can get to your cryo sleepies, the better. So take off. Done this a bunch of times with this exact crew. Goes off without a hitch. You're in the air, picking up speed to get to the kind of basically cruising speed. You know that Mother is set up for autopilot. You guys will be woken up when you've actually.
Sorry, I was laughing at Adam.
Sipping that espresso,
Just
man.
the idea of like
With a
a
little
spaceship like
saucer.
shaking, and you're just like, yeah, it's amazing. And then like if this was a movie, we would know we hit 0 G when the espresso started like floating out.
Yeah. And then the like gravity like comes back and says, "Ah, it's on my lap. Oh no."
Is this Star Trek or is this the Orville? I'm not sure. Which
Yeah,
one
we're really
doing
not
here.
setting the tone right. Grounded,
So you all
grounded.
know that the next step is to prepare for cryo. There are lockers within the cryo chamber at that kind of dead end. After you go through the galley, through the ladders that get you from the cargo and up, and then you actually have the cryo room. There's a locker for each of you to kind of stow some stuff, because basically strip down to your undies before you get in. Common practice of that. So unless there's any conversations you want to do before you actually go to sleep, that will be our next step for this group.
No, I think that seeing how he is the technician and is in charge of the equipment, I think that Sammy would just make sure that everybody gets in, make sure that everything is like smooth, and then he would put himself in last.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything specific? Any pre-cryo rituals that you have? Special undies you put on?
Once I put in the last person, I spend 3 days by myself. No, just kidding. I draw faces on all of them. No. What's that one movie that I'm thinking of when we were children that probably wouldn't be good today? It's like that guy who's a Rocket Man, maybe, where like he's stuck in a like he doesn't get into cryo sleep. Okay, anyway, sorry, that was a huge tangent. Sammy does everything very professionally and then puts himself back in as well. He's a grunt, but he is very professional.
For sure, Putnam would try to get everybody to like join hands to pray.
Absolutely not.
No. We're
No
busy.
way, dude. I
It's fine.
respect
Hey,
it. I respect it.
I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you.
You
It's
can
gonna
pray
be
for
all-
me. That's great. Thank you, bud. That's
Dalton will join
not for me.
Sammy clearly doesn't want to, but he'll walk over to Putt, but he won't grab Putt's hand, but he will just like put a hand on Putt's shoulder.
Okay.
Mhm.
And he doesn't close his eyes, he just looks down.
That's great.
It's his best. Only because he kind of likes Putt.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just nod my head. It starts out with like a very like normal like Catholic prayer, but then like has shifted into like what would be like a future and one more meant for like spacefaring. And whenever we break atmosphere, we call out for two more, for whom we beg to see our much beloved home once more. The crews that came before us would burn like nova in the sky, where the earth fades below us. In the blackness, let us not die. Amen.
Amen.
Just Pat's
Wow.
Putt on the face. Amen. Now get in the fucking tube.
I think I will.
And then he says, "Get in the fucking tube." Pardon me.
Oh my god, that's great.
Kelsey?
I have an item that I'm slipping into my pocket
Ooh.
Okay.
secretly,
Okay.
and I pat it,
Secret item.
and then I'm like ready to go. Then so like a
Okay.
secret thing. in my
As the
pocket.
person putting her in the cryo tube, do I notice, or do I have a chance to notice?
I don't know.
I would say for this, because you don't have to like put them in. You're
Yeah,
more
I'm
going
not,
to be
like-
focused on like the screen and like everything is like, here you are as I lay you down to sleep
No,
on the
for sure,
forehead.
for sure.
So
It's
yeah,
more
so
fun
I
if
don't
I
think
don't know.
you notice it. And so you do that successfully. And you know the drill. This is kind of again standard operating procedure for you guys. You know that Sammy is going to be the last one to go to make sure each pod is up to snuff, and then he'll put himself in the pod. And you feel all the usual senses. It feels like being put to sleep. If you've had like a surgery, it feels like the knockout gas. Like, it's a strange sensation because you also start to get very cold because it drops your body temperature pretty significantly as you're going to sleep. So, it's still a sensation that you're used to, but is still odd. And you dream a little bit as you go. It's encouraged to dream while you're in cryo, so you're not just zombies asleep for the whole time. You want to keep some brain function going. So you let your minds wander until the time comes where it feels like not that long has passed at all, and you feel yourself slowly waking up. You're still pretty cold, slowly warming up. You know that you'll have a couple minutes of semi-consciousness in the pod as you start to like hear the sounds of hissing as like warm air is pressed into the pod. Slowly you're waking up, feeling the fatigue of being in cryo for so long. You're dehydrated, your mouth is so dry, your limbs feel stiff, like you could use a good stretch. And after a couple minutes, the all the pods simultaneously open with kind of a hiss and a little pop as that pressure is released. And slowly but surely, likely not at the same time, you all start waking up, stretching, gathering your personal items from your lockers, knowing that the first thing that you guys need to do is eat, and get some hydration so you aren't dehydrated anymore. So as you slowly but surely make your way to the galley once more, that's where we'll pick up. If you think you'll be slower than anyone else, or again, if there's something specific you want to do as others are waking up, maybe a little more slowly than you. But that is where we're picking up with you all waking up in your undies in cryo, just coming out of cryo.
I think Dalton would. The first thing he does is some of his personal effects is a pack of cigarettes, and he would light one up, like take 2 puffs on it, and then hand it over to Sammy.
Yes, yes, you better know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that.
We'll say these spaceships are like sophisticated enough, and no one come at me about this, but shut up. There is smoking corners that you can go to.
I
And
mean,
it's a little corner that Mother has set up that like immediately like
For real?
takes away and filters the smoke, so you can have. It is not encouraged to do so, and definitely not more than like maybe 1 cigarette.
Oh, but
But
if he does it.
knowing that that is a vice that people have, you can
Wow.
do that, and it immediately clears the air away, but you still get your little boost of nicotine.
Yeah.
and I think that like coming out of the pod, still having that like shiver once hitting the like cigarettes, once getting a couple like inhales in, Dolly like relaxes again and like. And then hands it off, not needing to take too much of it, but just kind of setting straight a little bit.
Love it.
Oh, Waylon, bless you, you son of a bitch. Okay. I think that.
Can I?
Yeah, he passes it off to Greg. I think that Sammy just goes to the, like, stumbles to the galley, puts on his coveralls, finds his sunglasses, puts those on, and then, like, grabs an orange and just, like, slacks down into some chair and just, like, very, like hungover kind of feeling, eats an orange.
Yep. Great.
Nice.
Kelsey, you're saying something?
I'm gonna delay back so hopefully everyone else will leave as I'm, smoking. When I am smoking,
Well,
I think
yeah, you'll take the last couple hits. People will have left.
anyone paying attention, her hand is shaking more than it probably should after being cold. Like obviously they're all
that
cold,
espresso.
but it's it's
Very much so, yeah.
Yep. And then everybody leaves, and she's gonna immediately shove her hand in her pocket and take out a bottle and papa something, and then
Papa
take a
something.
deep breath, and then
Papa
carry
Smurf.
on. Carry on into
Okay.
the galley and act like nothing happened.
Okay.
Right.
Putnam
So none of you see that.
Probably, Putnam probably being like one of the newer people isn't quite like is just now starting to get like used to like coming out of like cryo on a regular basis.
Yeah, definitely.
And is a little like stumbly, but like and knows like that the rule is like sit down, drink your space Pedialyte, and
Yep.
like
Get your orange slices.
acclimate. But they just grab their like bottle of Pedialyte and like they are like embarrassed to be sick in front of people, and so they immediately go down to the cargo hold to check the like the gas like readouts and vomit in peace by themselves.
Oh,
Devastating.
buddy.
So yeah, you all know that there is something called hydration that immediately like cures this dehydrated, lethargic feeling after cryo. You can take it before or after. In my personal opinion, after makes sense, so it can kind of be an immediate thing. And you each for this session, because this is again a company one, it is a preset, like you each have two. So you know you have one for when you wake up this time, you have one for when you wake up on the return trip, and you that is the amount of hydration that you have on the ship.
Okay.
But and you have very minimal provisions because it's just a cargo delivery. So likely you won't be in Sutter's home for more than like a day. And so there's like minimal
Definitely.
provisions so you can feed yourselves, so you can have a meal as you're unloading. If there's any delays, like it's stocked in that regard, but then you're like right back into cryo on the way home. It's a quick turnaround thing.
Yeah.
So you get some oranges, you get some likely dried food, some futuristic way to reheat some things or rehydrate things, those kinds of things. They're not good food, but it's not bad food. A lot of energy bars, those kinds of things. But you're all sitting around the table, minus Putt, who just excused themselves and grabbed their hydration and ran. But you're all sitting around the table, eating, kind of getting some life and movement back into yourselves as you're really waking up from this long sleep that you've had.
Cam
Any
gets
comment?
like right to work, like is up, like finding her clipboard, like very
What are you
efficiently puts her clothes on, goes right to check everything.
Okay, yeah, so you know that even from the galley you can start checking some of the things. There's a comm there, or you can head straight to the bridge to start checking the more intensive monitors of ship diagnostics, location, things like that. Um, and so we'll come back to you there. Anyone else do something specific besides just wake up?
Would you say that like there we have like what would be like an iPad type situation where I could just like, if not, that's totally fine. All I'm trying to do is like remotely from where I'm sitting very lazily, like just like make sure mechanic wise that like everything's good with the ship. We didn't have any major hits while we were in cryo from any unknown objects or just anything like that, like just basically a diagnostics
Sure.
report. Or if there's not like a pad, like maybe there's a seat by like a panel on the wall and he's just like
Yeah, I would say that you don't have like personal iPads for readings of the ship,
Yeah.
but at least in I think the galley, like basically I think in the little map you see wherever there's like the screen that looks like a tiny little phone. It's like a screen with like six buttons
Oh
under
yeah.
it. That means like there's a console there. So
Perfect.
easily enough you could pull up a chair next to this console and just start like going
Yeah.
through that like really lazily as you're eating your orange.
Yes.
And there's a comm connected to most every room as well, that you can either use to like directly message a specific room or to do send your voice across the whole ship, or that Mother uses for any announcements across the ship as well. So that's what you're doing, but we'll get to you in the cargo for a second. Adam and Kelsey, anything you guys are doing?
Yeah, I think I'd like to check just communications, see if like because we've been out for time, and just see if
Yeah.
there's been any sort of like
Check an email?
Yeah, check my emails.
Yes,
Gotta check my emails.
Always gotta check email right after vacation.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Got a backlog though.
Oh, the
Um,
Mets lost. Oh.
I've got 80 that I just have to delete right away.
Yeah, lots of
All this
spam.
spam.
Oh
Yeah,
man, so
yeah.
much spam that you have to go through after months. So yeah, so the console in the galley is taken up, but just to the west of the map, you can see another console in that junction area with a ladder. So you can just as easily go to that one, start checking your emails. You see
Yeah.
a lot of the same those that you work with know that you would be gone for an extended period, so you don't have many like work emails besides like the spam. You notice that it was someone's birthday and there was a happy birthday email sent, things like that.
You're out of office, Suzanne.
Yeah, you auto replied for a whole 3 months, and um, you do have one sent from like a day or two ago, just checking in on things, knowing that you would arrive soon. You have one from like your manager, basically, that just wants a status report when you wake up, making sure that everything is line, crew's still doing okay. You're on track for the report that you got just before you left.
I'll respond to those. Yeah, everything is fine. Everything is online, and I will update in time, and that I'm awake. And hello, and happy birthday.
Yeah. Very late happy birthday to Kathy. Great. We'll jump to well, Kelsey, where are you headed?
I'm going to the cockpit.
The bridge, yeah.
The bridge. The bridge.
Yeah,
Going to
the bridge will be where the pilot chair is. A lot of the monitors of like your scanners,
Make
all
sure
of the
everything's still on
ship stuff.
course.
Okay.
Yep. And then, yeah, just waiting for things to kick in, trying to, shake it out, do a little bit of
Right.
cardio, trying to get the heart pumping.
We'll jump to Putt as you have finished throwing up, and are able to finish kind of the rest of your hydration. Maybe you grabbed an energy bar or something to also kind of get some food into you, knowing that you were gonna be sick. You start doing your checks of everything. You know that the amount of time that the shipment should have been in transit should have been about enough time for all of the I'm forgetting the word,
Tritium.
but yep, thank you. The tritium to have decayed into the helium that it needs to be, minus maybe like a couple canisters or a pallet's worth, but for the most part, it should have been enough time. What you notice is about 40% still haven't decayed enough. And so you're trying to figure out, you're doing some diagnostics, like figuring out of what maybe happened, but this should have been decayed and it's not. And yeah, what do you do with that information?
Yeah, I think like because I am still like coming out of like cryo sick feels. I like finished my hydration as I'm like trying to like do the calculations to like confirm that I had like set everything up properly.
Sure.
And like something ain't right. Do we have communication like devices on us, or would I have to like go?
There's an intercom
Mhm.
from that is you'll have to go to kind of, it's like one of those that you will like find in houses is, if you go there you can again either hit full intercom or you can say like specifically to the bridge or to the galley or wherever you want to send a message to.
In this setup, is Mother like a Alexa like in the movie, or how do we communicate with? Do I have to be in the Mother room to communicate with Mother?
I have decided that because I think it's more fun, Mother is like an Alexa system where you can kind of shout out and communicate with her. But for like specific inquiries or more detailed responses, or specific messages, you'll need to go to the Mother system itself for like more than just a quick hit question.
Yeah, Mother, Mother. What's the soul cycle on Anchor Point right now?
Well, that is an excellent question. We'll get back to that in just a second. But while Putt is looking at all of the cargo, we'll jump to the bridge. And Emily and Mac, as you guys, or Cam and Mac, as you guys are going through everything, um, you're just starting your kind of system checking on the routine things when you notice the sensor that usually detects like ships, beacon towers, locations, things like that. You see a ping start flashing, and Mother comes along on the intercom of the whole ship and says, "Inbound ship detected. Please proceed to the bridge to input course of action," and kind of repeats that over and over. And that's where we're gonna end session 0.
Oh no!
Not an inbound ship.
Oh my god! I knew.
Invasive act.
I've said it the whole time. It was going to be a tease, and it feels like such a tease.
Yeah, I know. I wanted it so bad, but
Oh
we are
my
at time, and
gosh.
so wanted to
So good.
end with a little bit of a tease with the
Perfect.
shipment and the cargo and an inbound
Going
ship
on.
detected. So we'll
Oh my
see
God.
what happens in a week. At least we only have to wait a week instead of 2 weeks. So.
You'll see what happens in session 1.